employers, especially in Nigeria, the country where I come from, don't even accept the maternity leave because they see it as you'll be redundant for 5 good years. So, sir, in such instance, being redundant as what the employers, tell us face to face when we come, for interviews, we want to explore, we want to give to the society, but then we are being limited, we are being held back because we had left 5 good years of our lives just to remain at the home front. Did we do any bad? I had a situation having to start up my career at a very tender age or an early age, say in my 20s, and marriage came along. I embraced it wholeheartedly. And then embracing the home front, I had to quit my career just to manage the home. But then it was filled with mixed feelings because I thought, okay, if I'll have to neglect the children and handle the career, what becomes of me? What will the society say? What will I fall back on? And then I had no choice but to become an housewife. That alone was the grief I had. But through passion, upskilling, I braced up and I found purpose. So coming here, I just wanted to ask and to know if I made a great mistake of my life, having to abandon my career for a while and just to choose the home front in order to have a good home, in order not to allow the society to ask me questions, in order not to fall back and ask myself, have I failed as a wife or as a mother to the children?
Interesting question. Thank you for coming, for sharing your life experiences.
Thank you, sir.
As we share, we learn more. First and foremost, you need to know that you are not only one aspect in existence.
Okay.
Yes, you're a human being, but there are more to you as a person. All right, and that is why you can exist as a mother, as a wife, as an individual, the same you,
Okay.
as a business owner. Okay, so you have different facets of existence. And when you are coming to this world, you know the responsibilities involved in being on this planet, the responsibilities involved in being a human being with different facets of existence. All right, so when you made the decision to get married, you are making that decision because you know you have the ability to express in different phases, in different forms of expression. Just like water could become liquid, could become solid at a freezing temperature, it could become vapor when boiled. Okay, so water has that ability. So also you do have these abilities to exist in different facets. So when you became a mother, you owe your children that responsibility to be a mother, irrespective of the other aspects of you. Okay, no particular aspect is more important. You came to offer all these aspects to humanity, to life generally, to the universe generally. Okay, at every point in time, one aspect will be demanding of you more than the others. All right, so at that particular point, you have to know that it is time to give it, not forgetting that the other ones are also there. Okay. So you did not make a mistake. You only showed up when you are supposed to show up for that aspect of your life to be expressed. It was never a mistake. It would have been a mistake if you abandoned any aspect of your life that was ready to be expressed. All right? So, but the fact that you gave that aspect, it served its purpose, then you are able to return again, means that you are well anchored in who you are. You never allow one aspect to swallow up the rest. You gave each aspect when the time came for you to give them, and that is strength, that is not weakness. And you did not abandon your career because of what society would say. That is not the reason. It was not because society would have complained. Of course, if you abandon it, society will complain. If you don't abandon it, society will complain. Okay, so you did not abandon the kids, not because society will complain, but because you are a responsible mother. All right, and you know that this is the time to offer this aspect of me. Even if you didn't know it, it was an issue for you, but deep down the soul, the soul knew that this is the time to offer this aspect of you, and you were strong enough to do that. So kudos to you, you did great, and able to return again and offer the other one. You did great.
Thank you so much, Doctor. From all that you've shared and you've tried to explain to me currently, so you are trying to say I never made a mistake doing what I did just for the family. But the aspect of sitting back and looking at, sacrificing my career for a period of 5 years, didn't you see that as, an aspect that I shouldn't just have, held on for a long period of time? Because if I'm talking of sacrificing 5 years of my time for career, just to housewife or to keep the home front, don't you see that as,
That's a mistake.
a drawback? Exactly. Or, a mistake that I made? Because I've seen a whole lot of women balancing the career, the home front, and also, do you need to blame anybody here? Or do you think I made a mistake, yes, trying to leave
Well, I get your
the
question.
career and focus just on the home or the children?
Well, there are ways you could balance things.
Okay.
You could get help. You could everything you give in life, everything we give to life is unique. All right, there are some people who could get help, and the help will be help enough to take care of this family aspect, so they could return to career. Whereas there are some people who help they get will not be help enough. Everybody's life journey is different. Okay, and nothing is a mistake, nothing is accidental. All right. Probably the 5 years you gave to family, you needed it. You might not like it, but you must have learned something in that 5 years. The experience might be hurting, the experience might be difficult, but the lesson that comes with the experience is what is important.
Yeah,
Okay?
right. All right.
It is the lesson that is important, because most times if lessons are not learned, experiences, classes are repeated.
That's true.
So when you go through a process, you might call it a mistake. You might call it, you might say you didn't like it. But what did you learn from that experience? What you learn might be what you need for the next phase of your life. If you come out of a situation without learning from it, then you are not ready for the next phase. So I always tell people not to be bothered about what they cannot change. What is gone is gone. You have no right, you have no power to change it. You can't redeem the 5 years. But what have you learned from that experience? That is what is important.
Wow.
All right?
Yes, sir.
So whether it was hurtful, whether you thought it was a waste of time, which I know it wasn't, your children were in that experience with you, you were in that experience, your husband was in that experience, people around you were in that experience, everybody had something to learn. So if you can give your attention, shift your attention to the lessons that came from those experiences, it's better than holding on to what you felt about whether it was a mistake, whether you lost 5 years. You never lost 5 years. Okay, but refocus your attention. It is the refocusing of attention that is important. It is the energy you are holding from the experience that shapes what you become today and tomorrow. So if you allow the negative from that experience to continue to define how you move, how you reason, how you think about family, about giving your time to family, it will continue to give the negative. But when you tell yourself, okay, this happened, I didn't so much enjoy it because I felt I wasted 5 years, but I learned the joy in helping my kids understand motherhood. There are things you must have impacted. Look at the overall experience and see the lesson that come from it. Change where your attention is.
Thank you very much, sir. I can remember vividly also, having stayed with them for 5 years and now revamping my CV was more or less another phase I had to encounter. The truth about it is employers, especially in Nigeria, the country where I come from, don't even accept the maternity leave of 5 years. I will call it the maternity leave. I think that is the norm, or that is the name I should call it. The maternity leave of 5 years, because they see it as you'll be redundant for 5 good years. So, sir, in such instance, being redundant as what the employers, tell us face to face when we come, for interviews, we want to explore, we want to give to the society, but then we are being limited, we are being held back because we had left 5 good years of our lives just to remain at the home front. Did we do any bad?
Okay.
So how do you think this can be corrected? Because it leaves, a scar in our hearts that did we do any wrong staying 5 good years at home, and we don't want to lie on our CV, but we state it there that, okay, this was more or less like a maternity timing. Is there a gender inequality there in that aspect? So how do you think, for we who are faced in that particular web, how do we now sum up to be who we truly are in the workspace?
Staying out of work environment for 5 years does not make you redundant for 5 years.
That's true.
It does not at all. Working does not make you better than someone. I mean, going to work, all right, waking up in the morning, taking your bath, and going to work does not make you a better person than someone who stays at home and improves themselves at home. Even though you are in the house, what have you been doing? A lot of people work from home.
Sure.
Okay. A lot of people study, go into the internet, improve themselves, write articles, learn, study, do create content in the house. So it depends on how much time you give to developing yourself, self-development. Okay, I read some what is it called, CVs, and I'm baffled that people don't talk about their self-development in their CVs. How they've been able to develop themselves, take themselves from point A to point B, even if they did not work anywhere. Okay, because you do not only give to society when you're working, going to the office to work.
Sure.
Okay, a lot of people create content. What kind of content do you create? There are so much value you have in you that you could churn out every day, even without going to work. Let them appear in your CV.
Okay.
So if you're listening to me out there, and this is a new way to do CV, I write it a lot in my CVs. Okay, how I have developed myself in my own ways, through my own life experiences. I state my life experiences and the lessons I've learned and how I have become a better person through those lessons. Okay, so the fact that you stayed out of work, in fact, use it to your own advantage. How? Because when you stay out of work, you are able to think outside the box. When I was at work, I thought in a certain way. The rules and regulations, the bureaucracy at work, okay, made me think in a certain way. When I left work and I stayed outside of work for a while, I through my studies, my research, my personal experiences, I came to find better ways of doing what I was doing before that I was not getting the right result. These are ways you can sell yourself. And that is if you engage yourself in ways of personal experience, then you can bring them to bear. That the things you are saying will even sound superior to the things people who have been working for that 5 years might be saying. Okay, so take advantage of every opportunity you find yourself in. See it as an opportunity. Don't see it as a waste of time. If you see it as a waste of time, it becomes negative in your thinking and it gives you a negative feeling. And your feeling at every point in time is an indication of what you are creating. When you think negatively, you send the vibe into the universe and it goes out, resonates with things that vibrate on similar frequency and return to you. You give it strength. And when you give it strength, it makes you feel like it. So when you feel bad, when you think negative, you feel bad. All right? But when you change your feeling that, okay, I didn't go to work, but I developed myself. I can do this now, which I couldn't do before. You feel good about yourself. And that is the best way to sell yourself. How you feel about yourself.
Wow. You know, when you mentioned about these emotions, I'm a very emotional being. In fact, you know, women, we could be emotional and all. And I remember that I had to cry, you know, once in a while and all, but that's all gone. And then I spoke to some people, you know, when people you ask or rather you talk to matters a lot.
Exactly.
And when I spoke to them and I got some, you know, reason some insight and reasons to push through. And one of the key lessons I learned from them were also their own stories too. And they told me, use what you have to get what you want. And I had a rethink and they were like, use what you have to get what you want. And I asked myself, what do you have? And I remembered I have a phone. So that too was a game changer for me. I think I can recall that. And that was the beginning of another aspect of my life that brought about the marketing, you know, spirit in me. And that has helped me for at least 4 years now. And even my CV, while revamping it, I had to freelance with that. And it has given me an edge even at the workplace. So I think I resonate right now with what you just mentioned. And I'm glad I took that step. And I'm glad also I'm having this conversation with you, sir.
Perfect. So you get the answer.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so
As you
much.
go, be happy with yourself.
Sure.
You've done so
Yeah.
well. You've taken, you were not redundant. You've
At
taken
all.
4 years out of the 5 years
Yes.
to improve yourself,
You're right,
improve your
sir.
marketing ability. And anywhere you go to today, that is your selling point.
Exactly, sir.
That is your selling point. You've sold things without anybody pushing you to do that,
Yes,
without
sir.
anybody giving you target to do that. You gave yourself target to do that. You gave yourself the pressure and you overcame it.
Yes.
Nothing is bigger than that. You were not redundant. You grew, you developed, you became better.